and thanks for joining me for Enhancing Your Student Org 101, presented by the Office of Student Inclusion and Involvement. I'm Holly Anderson, and I'm our intern with the OSI office. Today, we're going to go through what is the next level for student orgs. What does that look like? Developing a strong mission statement, as well as what are next steps your org can take to enhance your functionality. So as a student org, you're holding meetings, you're running programs and events. It's really important to know that you're accomplishing so many great things right now, and it definitely should be celebrated. It's hard to run an org, so great job. But you are ready for the next level. If you're ready to enhance your org, if you're ready to increase your reach on campus, then we need to start asking ourselves the following questions. Are your org meetings feeling repetitive? How successful have your events been? What does your retention look like? And are members satisfied with the org? So first things first, it's important to create a strong vision, value, and mission. Things to ask yourself in this category would be, when is the last time your Constitution was ratified? Does it still reflect your current members and leaders and everything that they want to achieve? If no, it might be time to make amendments. Always follow your current bylaws for amending, and also don't forget to put it to a vote. It's also really important to look at the culture. What is the culture of your org? What's the culture of campus? When deciding to make any updates, make sure to consider this and how those changes are going to reflect your org's culture. If you're a service organization, you probably don't want to change your mission statement to be focused on honor society achievement. That doesn't really make sense for the culture of the org. So definitely take into consideration what it is that you're doing, what represents you, and how is that coming out in your mission statement. So what makes a good mission statement? First and foremost, with anything that you write and create for your org, it always needs to be clear and concise. People need to understand it easily, should be memorable, something that's easy for members to say when they're talking to other friends and campus entities. And then the concise part, again, just makes that very understandable, easy to read. It should tell you what will be gained. So it should tell anyone who is looking at your org, interested in your org, maybe partnering with you, what is it that they're gaining, or what is it that your org is doing to enhance the campus and the student body around you. There should be a clear target audience, and this can be as simple as just Edgewood students. It doesn't have to be as direct as our lovely GIF over here says, ELF culture. It could be maybe you're a sports organization, esports, so your target audience is students who enjoy playing esports. But it definitely can be as simple as Edgewood students, but it just needs to be clearly stated in your mission statement. And then lastly, readers should understand what makes your org unique. So going back to that cultural component, what is it that they're gaining? What is different than any other org on campus? What are they doing? What is different, especially with a college like Edgewood? We're so close to Madison, and there's a lot of different off-campus programs and groups. So really telling campus and students what they can gain from being a part of that group, what makes you unique, what makes you different, and what makes them want to join. Also to remember, your org's purpose should be directly related and reflected in your mission statement. So that purpose should tie directly back to the mission statement and should be just as clear and concise. And from this statement, you should be able to mirror this within your values. Values are a lot of times something people don't write down in their org, but sometimes it's nice to start with your values and then work backwards and create your mission statement from there. So what is the next level for student orgs? We'll talk about a couple different things that can bring your org really to that next level. Some of these things you might already be doing as a student organization. Some of them you might not have heard of, or maybe you've heard of other orgs doing and you thought they were really cool, but just haven't invested that component into your org yet. So first one is good traditions. Having fun traditions is a really great way for increasing member satisfaction, and member satisfaction is going to directly relate to your recruitment and then your retention overall. These can be things such as like yearly t-shirt sales, a retreat, starting each of your meeting the same way, and end of year thank you. Those are just a few examples. Maintaining and creating traditions are a great way for student orgs to work on member retention. Again, develop a selling point for new members to join and provide something fun for all to partake in. This can be as simple as, like I had mentioned, starting with a check-in question. A check-in question could be, what is somebody's high and lows? Maybe it's a rosebud thorn. Maybe it's a specific question related to your organization that you ask every time. Really should be something that isn't, it shouldn't feel like work. It should feel like we want to invest in our members. We want to know about our members. We want to check in with you. We want to see what's going on. And starting your org that way each time can really be a great point for students to look forward to, whether you're meeting weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. If you develop that culture of wanting to know who they are, then they're going to want to come back. They're going to want to share that. They're going to want to have that sense of belonging created and enjoy that sense of belonging. They can also, these traditions, like it's stated on there, be as large as a retreat. So we have some orgs down at UW-Whitewater where I'm currently working as a graduate assistant. And one of the orgs down there does an annual retreat. So at the end of every year, with the exception of, unfortunately, this year, they get together, they rent, sometimes it's a cabin, sometimes it's hotel rooms. They use their membership dues and the fundraising funds that they raise throughout the year. And it's just a great way for them to celebrate the end of the year, celebrate everything that they've done this throughout the year, to really create some good team bonding experience. So again, they can be as big or as small as you want them to be. The next one I want to talk about is evaluation. So some of the recommendations I make, and I'm going to talk about a little bit more here in a second, are having semester or annual membership feedback or testimonials. Doesn't always mean that they're going to be testimonials. We'll talk about that in a second. As well as every program and event you host, both in-house and maybe with your partnerships, should always be evaluated by participants as well as those who put the program on. So going further into evaluation, it's incredibly necessary to understand how your org is progressing. Having membership feedback semi-regularly can give members a way to voice their concerns they may not feel comfortable sharing at a meeting. It is also provides your org an opportunity to collect positive testimonials to use on social media and in your recruitment areas. Anytime an event or program is put on, it should always be evaluated. This provides an opportunity to pass along any feedback for future members to use. So this is going into that feedback can come from both those who participate in it. So I always suggest, there's a lot of great tools you can use, Google Forms, Qualtrics, that you can create a survey. You can turn that into a QR code, and then when people attend your event, you can have them scan that with their phone or provide the link for them to be able to provide feedback. I've seen a lot of orgs put it on like a little half sheet, and then they hand it out at the end as everyone's leaving and ask them to fill it out. I've also seen people do it as if it's like a speaker, let's say, that comes to campus. The speaker, maybe takes just a few minutes at the end, or whoever's hosting that room takes a few minutes at the end to ask your attendees of the event or program to go ahead and fill that out. If it's those, you're getting feedback from those who who created the event, then that feedback can happen a little bit differently. So when doing the events, it's important to have a successful event where if you're partnered with someone or if you are doing it, let's say with another department on campus or off-campus entity, it's really important to also ask for feedback from them as well. What part of the process did they enjoy? What do they think they could have done or you all could have done better? It's just great to get that input as well. And then to obtain good information, it's really important to try to collect evals no later than 1 to 2 weeks after the event happened. This way you can understand things like, did you need more funds? Were your staff who staffed the program efficient, or did you need more volunteers or more help? Did you need to change locations maybe, or time of the day? These are all just really important things that, a year from now, this is an annual program you're doing, or, a couple years from now, you have these records to be able to pass along as leadership changes over, but also so that you can look back on them and be like, oh, hey, this program at 1 o'clock on a Friday didn't work well at all because most people at Edgewood campus aren't on campus that day. And maybe we should have offered like an online option so that people could have tuned in wherever they were, or maybe we should have moved it to a different day, that type of thing. So the next area you could do, and I would highly recommend this one, would be adding new positions. So adding in that public relations chair or a VP, as well as a recruitment retention chair or VP as well. So these are really important. They're just really strong actions to take for your organization. A lot of orgs I will see that I work with will have, like, your president, your vice president, your treasurer, maybe a secretary, and then that's it. So those 4 individuals are doing all the work. And it's a lot of work to just run those roles in their designated terms already. But then to add also in these areas of, public relations, who's doing your media, who's social media specifically a lot of times, who's doing your who's creating your print materials, how are you getting that information about you, your orgs, your ongoing out into campus. What do those relationships look like when you're doing sponsorships, when you're asking for donations? A lot of these can be broken up into even further categories or further positions, but it's really good to start with the public relations person, as well as like the recruitment and retention person can make sure to maybe you want to add in those good traditions and they can oversee those, doing end of year thank yous, planning a retreat. They can also make sure that they're, tabling at events, that they are going out and talking to the campus about your org and why is it important to join, and then really following through with those who are interested, those interested members, getting them to come to your meetings and hopefully retaining them so that they can stay members and maybe one day leadership with your organization. So definitely both important roles to have, to add in if you don't have them, to really take you and enhance your org to that next level. So there's also something that some of you may not know, which is a senative representative. So every student org is able to have a representative in Student Senate. It's really important to enhance your org. As the GIF says here, representation really matters. So each student org is encouraged to send one representative to the Student Senate general body. These reps are asked to attend, to voice concerns, and to stay updated on vital information. It is strongly encouraged that they attend all general body meetings to have voting rights. So it's just the way to get your voice out there, to get heard. If you have things that are happening, bring it to your student senate. They are the voice of the students, and it's a really cool thing that as student orgs at Edgewood College, you can partake in these meetings. You can have voting rights, that you can have your voice represented. So definitely think about having a person to go to that. Again, could be a great person, could be the PR person to go and have that connection and build that relationship between student senate. And if you are interested in that further, or if you're wondering when they meet, you will need to contact Shonda in the OSI office, and we will have contact information at the end of this presentation. So another really important way to enhance your org would be through partnerships. I know I've touched on it a couple times throughout this presentation already, and partnerships are going to be on campus and off campus. So on campus, they're definitely going to be, partnering with your own fellow student orgs, departments on campus, different entities, food services, housing, things like that. And then off campus is going to be, maybe you're part of a national organization that you can partner with at a larger level, and maybe they have another organization that is a sister organization or a brother organization to your org at UW-Madison. It also could just be groups doing great things, not-for-profits, for-profits. It's endless with off-campus partnerships. So going into the more logistics of it, some of you may already have partnerships with on or off-campus entities. For those of you who have not partaken in partnerships, they can be a great way for you to reach new student populations, expand your event, or even cross-market. Simple partnerships could include promotions. They could also include student ongoings of each of you sharing what those are on your social media accounts, or asking friends to just mention your org in their meetings if they run a student org as well or a part of one, to their classes, and to their friends. Those are really just the simple first basic levels of partnerships. Larger partnerships are the ones that are really not, they're both important, but the larger ones are really what's going to enhance your org to the next level. And this is going to include working with those different entities I mentioned at the beginning, to really, you can do a lot of different things. A couple suggestions would be, putting on a professional development opportunity for your members, hosting campus events or creating a campus event, bringing a speaker to campus. I've seen people even do full workshop days or weekends. There is just a lot of endless possibilities when it comes to partnering at a larger level. So besides promotional opportunities as well, through your partnerships, you could also obtain financial help via donations. They can help split expenses or donate their time to helping with the event themselves. So definitely sponsorships, and that donation can be that really push point of your event, where if you have a partner off campus, especially let's say a for-profit or not-for-profit business, maybe they make an in-kind donation to your event. You market them on your social media, you market them the day of their event. Maybe you have a brochure you're handing out and their logo and information can go on that brochure. There's a lot of different ways that you can do partnerships, but they're definitely a great way so that it's not just your group creating an event for a target population. Target populations are great, but we really want to expand that, and your events are going to get a lot more attendance if we expand to all of campus. And doing that is, you can always ask for help. Help is always great with partnerships to expanding your events and programs to the larger level. So last but not least, talked a lot about these two things, but Recruitment and Retention 101 will be taking place on Tuesday, April 21st at 11 a.m. and Fundraising 101 will take place on Tuesday, April 30th at 10 a.m. I will be going through exactly what those say in those meetings. We're going to talk a lot more about the different, I've touched a little bit on both recruitment and retention and fundraising, but we're going to talk a lot more about ideas, different things that you can do in those sessions. So I definitely hope you can join me for both of those. And then last but not least, thank you for joining me. Here is the contact information. So again, if you want to talk to Shonda about the Student Senate, you can email her at the OSI at edgewood.com, or excuse me, .edu. Please, again, avoid from using phone number at this time, and email is truly the best way to reach our team. Bye.